Okay, so in this video, as you can see by the title, I'm going to be discussing the ultimate e-commerce email deliverability guide and basically show you how you can ensure 95% primary inbox placement for Klaviyo emails and basically never land in the spam or promotions folder for your Klaviyo emails ever again. Okay, so I'm going to move my big head out of the way here, make this nice and small. And before I jump into the actual process and the protocol, first thing I want to discuss is why e-com email deliverability is important and why it is important to actually start landing in the primary inbox. So like if every time you send an email and it just goes to spam and nobody opens it, it's really going to be difficult to drive revenue. Obviously, no one's going to see your stuff, right? Now, time and time again, I've seen this be a major bottleneck for e-commerce brands. And the issue is that it's actually a pretty technical problem that requires a deep knowledge of how Klaviyo works. And it's really just something that most e-commerce founders simply don't have the time, the energy, or the expertise to actually go through and fix themselves. So I thought it'd be valuable to basically show you how to do it and give you like a bit of a crash course to basically cut all of the learning, show you everything in one easy to read document, and then basically you can go and implement it. So this will improve your reputation with whatever sending platform you're using. So Klaviyo, ActiveCampaign, etc. It'll give your customers a better experience. You'll be able to build more trust and obviously increase your click-through rate and conversions because your emails are actually going to be now seen by your list, right? Or you can stop reading or watching and basically have your emails stay in spam forever. So just so you know that this protocol is actually tried and tested, it does work. I've got a bit of a case study here. So this brand, we took all of their emails from landing in the spam folder and got them landing in the primary inbox in roughly 45 to 60 days. So if you are landing in spam, the process does take a little bit longer. But as you can see here, after running a recent deliverability test, all of their marketing emails are now landing in the primary inbox on all of the major email service providers, or email inbox providers. So Outlook, Yahoo, Gmail, etc. These are the main ones that we shoot for in terms of inbox placement, because obviously if you filter your list, you'll find out that most of your subscribers use one of these inbox providers. Now, I'm going to discuss 3 parts to email deliverability today, starting with how to avoid the promotions in spam folder as an e-commerce brand. So basically the best practices for keeping your sender reputation healthy, how to actually find out if you are landing in the spam folder, and how to get your Klaviyo emails out of the spam folder in 30 days or less. Now that's a rough time frame. As I mentioned, this case study here took about 45 to 60 days because their deliverability was really in the bin, but 30 days is a good time frame to shoot for. Some brands will take less, some brands will take longer. It really is just dependent on your past sending habits. So I'm going to kick things off with section 1, how to avoid the promotions in spam folder as an e-commerce brand. Basically the best practices for keeping your sender reputation extremely healthy. So there's 3 pillars of maintaining a positive sender reputation. I'm just going to zoom in here. The first pillar is email engagement. So inbox providers like Gmail, Yahoo, Outlook, they assess the engagement on emails sent from your brand's domain. So you want to think about this like a point system. So every time somebody opens an email, you get a point. Every time someone clicks, you get a point. Every time somebody replies to an email, you get a point. And this is actually the true for the opposite as well. So every time somebody doesn't click, doesn't open, leaves a spam complaint, you lose a point. So over a long enough period of time, if your list doesn't engage with your email content, you'll eventually dip into the negatives where inbox providers will start placing you in spam, which is really not the place that you want to be. So this point system here that I'm talking about, it isn't literal, but it does give you a good idea of why having people engage positively with your emails is important. So inbox providers will place you depending on how people engage with your emails. So keeping this in mind, there are really 2 main things that we can do to ensure that marketing emails are being engaged with positively. The first thing is we can target subscribers who are genuinely interested in our emails. So focusing on engaged segments here is key. So these are subscribers who have recently shown interest by opening and clicking your emails. So by segmenting your campaigns to these active subscribers, a higher percentage of recipients will engage positively, which is favorable in the eyes of inbox providers like Gmail, etc. So when you're sending to your engaged segments, you should be consistently seeing open rates of at least 30%. Now, the next thing that we can do is grow our email list organically. This is another way to optimize for engagement, right? You've got to make sure that every single person on your master list, on the majority of your send list, is either a customer or someone who has explicitly opted in to receive marketing emails. And this approach basically guarantees that your audience is genuinely interested in your content. You never want to purchase an email list, okay? This is a sure way to ruin your deliverability. These people aren't interested in your brand. Most of the people are going to mark you as spam. No one's even going to open it because they're going to see the email like, who is this? Because you bought the list, and basically, within about 30 to 60 days, you're going to see your deliverability absolutely tank. Not the place you want to be. Now, the second pillar of maintaining positive email reputation is your email content. So, as well as assessing your emails based on engagement, email inbox providers will scan the emails you're sending and they will place your email based on the contents for them. So, there's a few hard and fast rules around optimizing email campaigns for primary inbox placement in terms of the content. First things first, you never want to send pure image slices. You want to mix in some HTML, buttons, and text. Now, for some brands with really healthy domain scores, this isn't too much of an issue, but based on our experience generating 30 million in email marketing sales, if you can include some live buttons and text, you're going to be placed in the primary inbox more consistently over the long run. Now, if this is gibberish to you, basically what you want to do is drag in some sections from Klaviyo's template editor, as well as using your image slices from design tools. Now, another general principle you want to follow is you want to keep all of your images under a megabyte large. So large images, they flag as spam. Even one image that is massive will be enough to land you in the spam folder. You also want to avoid spam phrases. So you want to run frequent deliverability tests to figure out which words inside of your emails are flagging as spammy. And I will touch more on this later when we talk about deliverability testing. But basically, there's a few words, for example, like guarantee, I think sale or something like that. They flag as spam, and basically they trigger spam filters that obviously place you in the spam folder. So you want to avoid these spam phrases, and I'll show you exactly how to do that a little later on. You have to keep watching. But the next rule is basically you want to mix in plain text emails. So plain text emails are the lightest type of email you can send, and sending plain text emails not only does wonders for your deliverability, but they often outperform those beautifully designed emails because they are clear, they're informative, and they look native to the email marketing platform. So for example, if you're running a UGC ad on Facebook, that ad looks very native to the platform, right? Just a selfie style video of a customer giving a review. It's very native to that platform. The same goes for email marketing, where if you send a plain text email, people are used to receiving these plain style emails from coworkers, from family, from their team members every single day, right? So it's very native to the platform, which is why they work so well. Now, another thing to mention in regards to email content is to make it very clear and easy for a customer to know what to do. So optimizing for clicks will not only increase the amount of revenue you're able to drive from each email campaign, but it will also ensure your deliverability is on point because a higher percentage of people will be actually clicking on your emails. Now, the final pillar here of maintaining a positive sender reputation is sender reputation, right? Sender reputation ties together both of the pillars above. So basically, inbox providers will decide where you should be placed based on your past sending habits. So if you've been sending engaging emails that get opened and clicked by a large percentage of your list, and your content is optimized with small images and HTML sections, there's a good chance you'll have a positive sender reputation. Your sending domain is trusted, which means you'll get a higher primary inbox placement. Now, on the opposite hand, if you've been sending boring emails that never get opened or clicked, and you're always just firing out emails without realizing that half of the images are 3 megabytes large, there is a good chance that you're going to have a negative sender reputation. So in summary, your sender reputation is placement based on past sending habits. Okay. So that covers basically the 3 pillars of maintaining a positive sender reputation. That really summarizes how to optimize for inbox placement for your Klaviyo emails. Now, this is what to do and how to obviously maintain that once you have a solid reputation. Now I'm going to cover how you're going to find out if your emails are landing in the spam folder, right? So there's really 2 ways to check this, right? The first way, and in my opinion, the best way, is running a deliverability test using a deliverability testing tool. So this tool here is what we use. There's many of them on the market. We like Glockapps. It's definitely the most affordable and just as good as all of the others. I'll open it up just to sort of give you a preview. Basically, what this is, it's a deliverability testing tool. So it's going to give you inbox insights. So they'll give you basically, how it works is they give you a list of test email addresses that you can send your weekly email campaigns to. And when you send these tests, what it will actually do is Glockapps will give you a report within the tool showing you exactly where your emails are landing up in major inbox providers like Gmail, Yahoo, etc. So you want to do this frequently. You want to run at least 1 email campaign per week through a deliverability testing tool like Glockapps. And then based on the analysis here, based on the report and the breakdown, you can basically develop your sending strategy to optimize for inbox placement moving forward. And if you are facing deliverability issues, right, you find out that you are landing in spam on most of these major inbox providers, the insights here, they will guide you on how to resolve them. And I will touch on how to actually resolve that later on. But for now, we're just covering obviously how you can actually find out if you are landing in the spam folder. And if the analysis indicates you have a good sender reputation, it basically means you're on the right track and you can keep sending exactly how you are currently. Now, the next way you can test where you're landing, and basically you want to use both of these metrics or both of these strategies together. because obviously not all of the Glock apps test lists are going to be 100% accurate. So you also want to analyze your metrics within Klaviyo. So if you're targeting engaged segments, such as people who have interacted with your emails in the last 30, 90, 180 days, and you notice open rates below 20%, this typically suggests that you have a deliverability problem. So you want to start to recognize patterns as well. So have a look. Are you seeing a drop off in open rates after increasing the campaigns? Are you want to also assess which segments build the best engagement or results. So have a look, notice patterns, have a look at your open rate, and by using a mix of both deliverability testing tools and analyzing your metrics within Klaviyo, that will give you a very comprehensive idea of where your emails are landing. So you want to use both strategies in conjunction with each other to get a really solid understanding of exactly how your deliverability is going. So far we have covered basically the 3 pillars of maintaining a positive centered reputation and the 2 ways to check if you are having deliverability issues. Now, the next part is by far the most important, and it's what a lot of people are going to be watching this video for. And I'm going to cover how exactly you can get your Klaviyo emails out of the spam folder in 30 days or less. It's a 5-step process. There's 5 individual strategies that you want to implement together. And it's a 6-step process. And here I'm going to break down exactly how you can get your emails from the spam folder or the promotions folder into the primary inbox. Okay. So it's not a good place to be, right? The spam folder, obviously. We discussed that before. Now let's talk about how to fix it. Now, it is important to note, getting out of the spam or promotions folder takes time. There isn't one thing you're going to change or any secret hack. Okay. Getting out of the spam folder is all about using the 3 deliverability pillars you mentioned before and consistently practicing good sending habits for 30 days straight. Sometimes this is going to take even longer. Now, the first step of the process is to double check you've set up your MX, your SPF, your DMARC, and your DKIM records on the domain you are using to send emails. This is a basic rule that applies to all email domains, regardless of if you're sending marketing material or not. Now, if that all sounds gibberish to you, did to me at first, these are basically just records hosted in the DNS settings of your domain. So you can use a DNS checker to verify that your records are in place. And when you run your first deliverability test, tools like Glock apps will validate if you have these DNS settings in place. Now, if you find that you're missing these DNS records, a simple Google search will point you in the right direction. These records are essential for email deliverability because they help authenticate the sender and prevent spam filters from blocking the emails. They'll probably find that they are already listed in your DNS settings. However, you do need to double check this because if not, there's quite literally 0 chance of getting placed in the primary inbox. So this is step 1. Step 2, and this is basically routine standard in 2024, you must have a Klaviyo dedicated sending domain. Now, by default, when you sign up for Klaviyo, you will start from a shared IP and sending domain. This means that other brands will share the same sending domain that will come from a Kmail address, which is Klaviyo's default domain. So if you're landing in spam, you need to take back complete control of your sending reputation and not have it shared. Now, actually in 2024, this document's a little bit outdated. It is a requirement by Klaviyo and by Gmail and Yahoo that you have it set up. So it's not even an option anymore. You have to have this in place and you have to go through and follow the steps to set up a Klaviyo dedicated sending domain. So this basically allows you to build a fresh sending reputation on your domain, and it will limit any negative impact to your domain reputation and deliverability from shared senders. So in other words, you are not the only one that will be sending from your domain. Sorry, you are the only one that will be sending from your domain, and you're the only one that will affect your reputation. So it's a super simple process. I've linked the article here. I'll also link it in the comment below. And an important note here, when you get on a brand new sending domain, you can't just keep sending how you were before. The domain is fresh. It means you have to take your time to warm up the domain, which leads me to my next step. So step 3 is you want to tighten up your segmenting for a prolonged period of time. So remember before how we discussed the importance of email engagement when it comes to deliverability? Well, this is exactly what we're going to focus on for this next 30 to 60 day period. If your email is landing in spam, you need to show email inbox providers that the emails you are sending are engaging and are being opened by a high percentage of the recipients. So this is where we start building back the positive sender reputation. So email inbox providers care about user experience, right? So they're only going to place you in the primary inbox if they analyze that the emails you're sending are actually wanted by the recipients. So by segmenting your campaigns to active subscribers, a higher percentage of your emails are likely to be engaged with, which is favorable in the eyes of these inbox providers. Now, for some brands, you may not need to segment down your entire list, right? So let me give you an example. Let's say you run a deliverability test using Glock apps and you find out that you're only really landing in spam on Gmail and everything else seems pretty good, right? You're landing in the primary inbox on Yahoo, on Outlook, on Hotmail, some of the other major ones, right? In that case, what you want to do is you only want to tighten the segment of Gmail subscribers. So the way you do this is quite simple. You want to create a segment of all Gmail subscribers within Klaviyo, right? And I'll show you how to do that now. All right, so I'm in an example client account here. So basically, to create a segment of just email subscribers, it is extremely simple. Spelling. So what we want to do is basically properties about someone, email, contains, and then at Gmail. So if we have a look here, actually go through and create this segment, you'll see that, like I mentioned before, Gmail subscribers make up a bulk of this client's email list. So just wait for it to load. Cool. So now, as you can see here, if you scroll through, all of these profiles that are pulled into this segment are now Gmail subscribers. So it's a very easy, simple segment to make. So that's the first step, right? Then you want to create a segment of highly engaged Gmail subscribers, right? So I'll go through and do that again now as well. So a segment of highly engaged Gmail subscribers is basically going to have this same property where the email contains at Gmail. And then you want to create an and condition, has opened email at least once. Now, when we're creating a segment to optimize for deliverability, we go really, really tight with the engagement. So, 10 days, 12 days, 15 days is probably going to be optimal. Or someone has clicked email. Just to summarize this, basically, so the email is a Gmail profile. The person has opened an email at least once in the last 10 days, or they've clicked an email at least once in the last 10 days. So you can see that brings that down to about 7,000 recipients. So the engagement on this list is actually really good because obviously the engaged subscribers make up a lot of the total Gmail subscribers as well. So that's the second step. So you want to create those two separate lists. Then from there, basically what you want to do is when you're sending your email campaigns, you want to exclude your segment of all Gmail subscribers from the main send, right? So you're going to send out your email campaign as you normally would, excluding all Gmail subscribers. Then what you're going to do is you're going to duplicate that campaign, and then you're going to send this duplicated campaign only to the highly engaged Gmail subscribers. So what this means is on Gmail specifically, your sender reputation will increase, and you're also not going to be sacrificing too much revenue because the only inbox provider that you are segmenting down is Gmail, because obviously you assessed that all of the other inbox providers have pretty good inbox placement. So if all of your emails landing in spam though, mostly everywhere, you want to disregard everything I just mentioned and send to highly engaged segments of all inbox providers. So these are just going to be general engaged segments. You don't have to get creative with, segmenting out, different inbox providers and stuff like that. Just tighten up your segments, send to really tight engaged segments. Now, the next step is basically you want to reduce the size and complexity of your emails for 30 days. So in this step, we're focusing on email content specifically. So if you are discover that you're landing in spam, it is a good idea to strip back the amount of images and general length of your emails. In fact, the best thing to do is exclusively send plain text emails for a little while. Now, obviously for some brands, this isn't possible due to branding guidelines, etc., but you get the point here, right? The lighter the email, the better. So basically, when our emails are received by inbox providers, we want them to be as light as possible to give us the best chance of not landing in spam. Now, this one's pretty simple. I covered all of these key pillars before, but I pasted them here again just as a reminder. Just to summarize, you don't want to send all image slices. You want to keep all your images under a megabyte large. You want to avoid spam phrases and also mix in those plain text emails as I mentioned. Now, this one's a little bit more extreme, right? But if you're really trying to get out of spam fast or you're migrating over from another email sending platform, this is a really, really good idea, right? Also, if you're setting up a new Klaviyo account and obviously it's going to take time to get the flows live, all that kind of stuff, this is also a good idea. Now, your flow emails are basically another way to ensure that your emails are being engaged with positively. So if you've been facing spam issues for a while, this is going to be a good idea to only activate emails that get very high opens and clicks. So remember, you want to limit the amount of emails that get 0 or negative engagement and increase the volume of emails that get positive engagement. Now, one thing to note here, if you've got a really good flow system set up, implementing this strategy will likely cause a slight drop off in flow revenue in the short term, but over the long run, the improved deliverability is well worth the short term revenue drop off, in my opinion, without a doubt. Now, again, this isn't 100% necessary, but if you do want your emails out of the spam folder quickly, this is a really good step to add in. So here's a list of high engagement engagement flow emails to include. So welcome 1, abandoned checkout 1, customer thank you email, your abandoned cart, and your browse abandoned, right? But you do want to look at your own email metrics and decide which emails you want to keep live throughout this period as well. Now, a final step, this is the last step in the full process, is using our secret footer deliverability text. So with this, we're truly savoring the secret sauce till last, because in my experience, this last step will not be effective if you're landing in spam, but if your email's landing in the promo tab, implementing this could instantly guarantee 90% inbox placement. At least that's what it's done for some of our clients. Now, basically, the footer deliverability text is a string of non-promotional brand-related content that you put in HTML in the footer of all of your emails. So here is an example. So we can see it's mission statement stuff, privacy policy stuff, everything sort of about the brand. It's branded content nothing to do with the selling. So let's chat about the function behind this and why it works. So when you're sending emails, inbox providers check the content to decide where to put them, right? Inbox or spam. If your email sounds too promotional and you have promotional HTML in there, it might end up in the promotions tab or even get marked as spam. So this is where the promotional percentage comes in. The deliverability text method, as you can see here, is a way to balance things out. So it adds non-promotional information like a footer to all of your emails. Now this extra non-promotional content helps offset the promotional stuff inside of your email. By having more non-promotional content, the promotional percentage decreases. And when it's lower, your email is more likely to land in the recipient's main inbox. People usually check their email. So in simple terms, this deliverability text makes sure that your emails looks less like a promo and increases the chances it actually goes to the right inbox and gets seen. So if you're having issues landing in the promo tab, use ChatGPT to string together some non-promotional content. Things like your brand story, privacy policy, mission statement, etc. These are all the things that work great. And if you want me to do this for you, feel free to jump over to LinkedIn. I'll leave it in the comments below and DM me on Twitter or LinkedIn. So that is the full summary there, right? So I know that was a lot of information. What you're going to want to do is go through, read this a couple of times, and basically follow this system here step by step if you do analyze you're having deliverability issues or you're landing in the promotions folder. Now, I do have a bit of a special offer. We actually offer to fix this for e-commerce businesses entirely for free. If you look at this and you're thinking, this seems like a lot of work, do not have all the time to go through and implement that full process. If you want to go over to strikecopy.com, I will just pull in a new text field. If you want to go over to strikecopy.com and book a call with me on my website. Basically what we'll do is we'll make a brief intro, get to know a little bit more about your brand, and then basically put together an action step plan. Come through and actually implement this deliverability system entirely for free. We'll get you in Slack, no charges, no hidden strings attached or anything like that. This is a free service we offer for e-commerce businesses, potentially with the goal maybe down the line of working closer together, but the deliverability stuff is entirely free. So if that is something of interest, go over to strikecopy.com, book a call with me, and we can chat about getting your deliverability sorted entirely for free. Awesome. Thanks. We will chat soon, hopefully.